Hey guys! Welcome back to more Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. There we go. Last time, we got into more of the investigating aspects of this, which was really interesting, and it is really fascinating that everyone is kind of having a little bit like gray morality with them. Like it's not just all, this person's good, this person's bad, which is a really nice thing to see in games. Because we're seeing it with Arya, we're seeing it with, oh man, I forget what his name is. But let's get back into it. Has Pierce give you all the details, Rudolph? Will you remember them? Yes, my notes are pristine and I pride myself on my eidetic memory. Just so there are no misunderstandings, I do not approve of this. It has also been like several days since I last filmed, so I don't fully remember the voices, so apologies. You said it yourself, Lady Steelwind. Oh. Okay, sorry. I think sometimes like I cut my mouse off because sometimes it'll just, if I accidentally hit my mouse, it just moves to that. My bad. Oh no, I've lost the text. The evidence proves that I couldn't have murdered Flinthar, which leaves a bastard child as the only suspect. We don't know what sort of tricks Tamora's stooge may pull tomorrow. Just see this as a way of securing a just verdict. There will be no need for your father to intervene. Oh. I didn't realize there was so little. Look! Okay, this is what happens when you go in blind. Sometimes it just feels like that is a good place to end. And this is why when I did Phoenix Wright, I would just cut it up in the back end myself. Because it was just easier to figure it out than being like on the fly. But I'm trying to do it this way so it's easier for me in editing. Hi, Miss Tamora. Cuthbert. How did the investigation go? I feel more prepared at the very least. I don't know exactly what happened, but I have a clear picture of the crime scene. What did you find out? I feel like I give every female mentor like the same voice, but I don't have a lot to work with. I'm not good at like range, I think. So there are no clues directly pointing to another suspect. Have you been able to coax any new details from McCoy? She's already told me everything she knows. She's not the one who killed Flinthar, Miss Tamora. I'm sure of that now. You trust people far too easily, Cuthbert. You say that like it's a bad thing. It's going to get you hurt one of these days. People are never as innocent as they appear. Are we gonna get another, oh gosh, what is his name? It's from the final, case in, it's the actor from the final case in the Francesca one. That one, it's still one of my favorites. And even if I can't remember the name, it's fine. Does that include you? What? Commander White had a lot of things to say about you. Should I have listened to him? What are you trying to say? I'm saying that I've never believed the rumors about you, not for a second. You saved me when I had nothing and taught me how to fight against the nobility. Everyone told me that you were a criminal. I wouldn't be here right now if I'd listened to them. Cuthbert, I'm not going to try to stop seeing the best in people. Celeste is innocent, and I'll prove that to everyone, including you. You can really be stubborn sometimes, you know that? I get it from you. That seemed to get a chuckle out of her. I wish I could see the world the way you do, Cuthbert, but the truth isn't always what you want it to be. I know, but I'm not gonna let that change me. I took a deep breath and readied myself. I was approaching the end game now. All I had to do was move the final pieces into place and end this once and for all. The bailiff led Celeste into the courtroom, and I followed closely behind them. Da da da! I do love the fact that, like, there's still so many little things about this game that are very similar to Phoenix Wright. It's just great. Court has now resumed for the trial of Celeste McCoy. Let us review the proceedings from yesterday. The defense presented some unfortunate oversights made during the investigation. I personally saw to it that the crime scene was thoroughly inspected this time. I see. I suppose that puts my mind at ease, if nothing else. At yesterday's trial, we found an inconsistency between the crime scene photo and the autopsy report. Because of this, the defense argued that the third party must have interfered with that crime scene to frame the defendant. To clear any doubts you have, the individual who discovered the body had decided to testify today. Really? It was my understanding they wanted to remain anonymous. The witness in question was within the gallery at the trial yesterday. After yesterday's proceedings, he felt that he couldn't stay silent any longer. Very well, let's hear from this witness. This is where we start, like, at the very first episode. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. My name is Reginald Rudolph. I am a chauffeur. Trying to do a British accent and it's going terribly. Rudolph appears to be writing something in a notebook. His pen glided across the page, filling line after line within seconds. Mr. Rudolph? Forgive me. I was merely recording everyone present in the room. You're taking notes? I always keep clear and detailed records of my actions every day. I found that ordering the present naturally brings order to the future. What? With such detailed records, your testimony about the defendant must be thorough indeed. Actually, I witnessed much more than just the defendant. I saw the crime as it was being committed, and I wrote down everything that I had witnessed. You didn't see shit because there were no fucking lights, asshole. What? You should know this by now, Tyrion. If what you're saying is true, why have you waited until now to testify? We had initially concluded that the evidence alone was decisive enough. We saw no need for Miss Rudolph to testify. However, that clearly changed after yesterday's trial. There's no way the prosecution wouldn't use eyewitness testimony from the start. There had to be another reason why he didn't take the stand yesterday. Very well, Mr. Rudolph. Please testify to the court about what you saw that night. He couldn't have seen anything because the lamps weren't on, because they were broken. I was transporting a client in my carriage that evening. We were driving by the McCoy Tavern when we heard a disturbance that occurred at 1:08 a.m. I was worried something was amiss. I walked into the establishment to see what the commotion was about. That's when I saw the defendant, lit by the blue glow at the dining room lights. She had stabbed Flintheart, and her sword was shining in magical energy. God, this voice is not staying consistent. She pulled the sword from Flintheart's back. As she turned to face her, she stabbed him again in the chest. So she stabbed and then stabbed again? She soon realized I had witnessed her heinous crime. She dropped her weapon, still impaled at Flintheart, and fled the scene. Incredible. If everything occurred as the witness described, I see no room for debate. Of course, the evidence has always been irrefutable. I don't remember seeing another carriage when I left to look for Celeste, but it was pretty dark. I could have just missed him. Celeste, did you see him when you left the tavern? No, I don't think I've ever met him before. Does that mean what I think it means? I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but he testified that you saw him. He's clearly lying. Just need to find out why. The defense may now begin their cross-examination. I want to start at the first thing. Hold on. I need to read. Died at 1:12. I just want to look through all of this. Okay, sword. It's the fact that it looks upside down to me still bugs me. It's still, I guess because it kind of looks like a gun, it just looks like you're holding it upside down. They were broken. Okay, that's what I thought. Who was the passenger in your carriage? Well... Jackson! The identity of the passenger is irrelevant. The current witness is the person who observed the crime. If there was another person at the scene, they may also have crucial testimony. The passenger is under no obligation to testify before the court. The current witness's account of the event is more than adequate. I see no reason for Mr. Rudolph to disclose the identity of his client. Okay. I want to push this. Can I assume the disturbance was the argument between my client and her father? Yes, I heard two voices, one young woman and an older man. Right, that also matched up with what the neighbors heard. What did you hear after the disturbance, Mr. Rudolph? But the time, they keep saying 1:08. He died at 1:12, though. I'm just saying. You sound certain that you saw my client and the victim. How are you so sure it was them? Flintheart McCoy and his daughter were well known within the town. Flintheart made himself quite known through the region through his social activism, and young Celeste tends to stand out wherever she walks through the streets. Is he hitting on me? Does make sense. You don't really look like the average commoner. Are you hitting on me? Be serious. Anyway, Mr. Rudolph, do you live in Cornhaven? I don't live there, but my work brings me into town frequently. The witness's place of residence has no bearing on this testimony. What matters is that he was there when the murder occurred. Steelwind kept deflecting questions about his life. How could she drop the weapon? Okay. Probably came up with a detailed story beforehand and wrote everything down. His quirk is the perfect cover for him to read over his notes. It'll probably be hard to catch him lying if he has a way to keep his story straight. It's actually just the opposite. This many details will be that much easier to find an inconsistency. I just needed to find it. I already know one of them. Did we do this one? You stopped your carriage in the middle of a job. What did your passenger think of this? He took no issue with it. What kind of passenger would be okay with stopping mid-drive? The passenger's thoughts on the matter are irrelevant to his testimony, unless you have hard evidence to prove otherwise. She objected whenever I brought up the passenger. There was something more there. Now then, please continue. Please tell us what you saw in the establishment. You sound certain that you saw my client and the victim. How are you so sure it was them? Okay, we've already done this one because the hitting. Okay. The cells are broken, which means no lights. Objection! Rudolph, you testified that you saw my client murdering the victim, and you supposedly saw her casting magic while doing so? Yes, I could never forget such a grisly sight. The moment was burnt into my memory. I see. Well, it's funny that you say that. What makes you say that? Because your entire testimony was a complete lie. What? Are you accusing the witness of perjury? Surely you know that such accusations can't be taken lightly, Mr. Cuthbert. Miss Steelwind, the dining room lights are artificial devices that are powered by an arcane power cell. However, that same arcane power cell was broken during the time of the murder. The lights had no energy, and the room would have been pitch black. The witness couldn't have seen anything, much less a homicide. Wait, I can explain. There's no need, witness. You could have easily seen another source of light. The McCoys probably lit a candle or lantern because of the blackout. The witness clearly described a source of blue light. A rudimentary candle or lantern wouldn't emit a color like that. Then the witness was clearly mistaken. The witness records everything he sees in his notebook. He even remembers the exact time that this encounter occurred. So why would he be incorrect about such a clear and obvious detail? Objection! What the witness saw was some form of magic. Due to the lack of power, it couldn't have been artificiary. It must have been an arcane spell. That's it. Witness? I was mistaken about something. Please allow me to revise my testimony. Mr. Cuthbert, what are your thoughts? If he thinks he saw something different, then it's only fair to hear him out. Didn't matter, no matter what he came up with, I'd tear through each of his lies. Because he's gonna say something about her using a spell to the Lumos thing. I remember now. Yesterday they said that Flinthope was killed using magic, yes? Must have been McCoy's channeling a magic spell. But she only knows one. None of them involve light. The spell was called Mageblade, wasn't it? That's it. The blue glow I saw was created by Mageblade. Which I don't think is accurate. Because it emits yellow. Huh, I see. So the blue light that you saw came from the defendant's magic. Mr. Cuthbert, you may proceed with your cross-examination. With pleasure. Because we now have some... Because now he looks so rattled, we can destroy him. Because it only emits a yellow glow. Objection! Rudolph, you don't know much about magic, do you? Of course not. Are you trying to say that I should have recognized Celeste's Mageblade? No. I admit that you probably wouldn't know what Mageblade looks like. But that's exactly where you made your mistake. My mistake? Rudolph, if you're aware of how Mageblade works, then you would know that the spell emits a yellow, radiant glow. Which means blue glow you saw couldn't have possibly been Mage Blade. This is ridiculous. What's the significance of seeing a blue glow instead of a yellow one? It's extremely significant, prosecutor. If the witness saw a blue magical glow, he must have witnessed a different spell at the scene. Preposterous! You don't have any evidence to support that claim! The blue light made a large impression on the witness. He wrote it down in his notebook. He even mentioned the color in both of his testimonies. I find it hard to believe that he'd be mistaken about something like that. Why does he look so short? So what did you see, Mr. Rudolph? Did you see my client at the scene casting a spell she couldn't possibly cast? Or did you actually see another mage at the scene? Well... Objection! Your Honor, the defense is completely out of line. Let me remind you that perjury is a crime, Rudolph. If you are found to have lied in your testimony, I will personally see to it that you're prosecuted. No, wait. Now that's quite enough of that. Oh my gosh, there's so many, Phoenix Wright references that I love it. Garrick Pierce had stood up from within the galley and walked to a witness stand, shoving Rudolph out of his way. Broken several laws with them, one act alone, but no one stopped to move him. The bailiff looked at the judge wearily and waited instruction. The judge said nothing, his eyes simply narrowed as he waited for Pierce's next move. Pierce, there is no need for you to take the stand. Nonsense, I have nothing to hide. I will not stand idly by while your case falls apart. It seemed for the first time the prosecutor had lost control of the room. What is the meaning of this, Miss Steelwind? This is Garrick Pierce, Your Honor. I am the Honorable Lord of Cornhaven and many other villages in that region. I'm afraid I must apologize. These misunderstandings have been entirely my fault. What do you mean, Lord Pierce? You see, Rudolph was not the one who witnessed the crime that fateful night. It was me. I was the one who saw that gruesome attack. I had my driver report the body so that I could remain anonymous. Are you saying that you had Rudolph lie for you? I simply dictated what I had saw and had him repeat that to law enforcement. With what's been in the news lately, it simply wouldn't do for a member of the nobility to appear publicly in court. But alas, it appears the time for discretion has passed. Lord Pierce, regardless of your good intentions, this is a clear act of perjury. I understand, and I will accept the consequences of that. However, I would be remiss if Rudolph's shoddy testimony allowed that girl to escape justice. Please, Your Honor, allow me to testify as to what I saw that night. Very well, this is highly irregular, but I believe the court will benefit from your testimony. However, know that misconduct will not be allowed without consequences. Very well. When the look on the Lord's face, it was clear he would only get off with a slap on the wrist. This is so odd. On the night of the murder, I found myself unable to sleep, so I took a leisurely carriage ride around Cornhaven. I happened to be passing by the McCoy Tavern when I heard a loud commotion from within the building. Curious, I stopped my carriage and took a single step inside the establishment. That is when I saw the scene inside. I saw the defendant stabbing that poor man with her sword. Garrick Pierce, he's a member of nobility. That also means that he's a mage. Does that mean? There's no doubt about it. He's the only other person who could have left those traces of transmutation at the crime scene. He has to be the mage we're looking for. Sorry, this must be a lot for you now. Don't worry about me. Just take him down. He didn't give us a lot to pull, though. Let's just try pressing everything. This seems like a strange way to pass the time. Not that I believed him for a second. The witness's eccentricities are besides the point. What matters is that he was clearly at the scene. I would have put it that way, however. I'm guessing this commotion was the argument between my client and the victim. One would conclude that, yes. We've gone over this point several times, but their voices were raised loudly during their argument. It's not unreasonable to say that the witness heard them from his carriage. If it was at the tavern entrance, that would be where the W token is. You saw the entire scene from the entrance. It would be quite dark considering that the lights weren't operational even if my client were using Mage Blade at the time. Of course, I'd forgotten that detail. I couldn't see what was happening, so I used my magic to illuminate the scene. Use magic at the crime scene? Yes, I remember it clearly. I conjured a blue light to illuminate the scene. That same blue light must have been what my driver saw. I thought Rudolph didn't witness the crime at all. If I had to guess, Mr. Rudolph must have seen the blue light from the carriage. Because of that detail he made that detail a part of his testimony earlier. Made sense. Rudolph was so sure he saw a blue light, it wouldn't have been strange if he were lying about that. Which spell did you use to illuminate the crime scene? It was a conjure light spell. Oh yeah, Luxo. Wait, 15 feet. Hold on. Hold on, 15 feet. We saw the 15 feet. I want to check something. Where's the map? Where's the map? Because here's the thing. No further than 15 feet. These blocks are gonna be so fucking helpful. That's not what I want. Where's the map? That's not 15 feet. That's 20 feet away from the victim. He would have had to have been closer, which granted, moving forward 5 feet would have given him the opportunity. Like, it's not the biggest issue to move like 5 or 10 feet forward. But wasn't there something at the crime scene? Why am I remembering? The yellow, there's no blue around it, but there was something about... I remember there being something about some sort of thing that we can recognize what it was. Your Honor, if the witness used magic at the crime scene, then I'd like for his spell compendium to be added to the court record. I see no reason to invade the witness's privacy over a trivial illumination spell. I agree, the defense will need a stronger reason to requisition a witness's spell compendium. Right you are, Your Honor. Your wisdom is truly fitting of your station. Oh, shut up. Casting a spell seems like a pretty significant detail to forget. For you, maybe, but for a practiced mage like myself, using magic is as natural as moving my arm. It could be possible. I use the Eye of Horror so much that I'm barely conscious of it half the time. Let me guess, did she stab from the opposite sides each time? Yes, now that you mention it, I do recall that happening. Although I'd have no idea why she would do that. Unless she could prove she didn't do exactly what I described. Suppose not. At least not yet, anyway. There has to be something. He keeps saying that he stood at the entrance the entire time. That has to be a lie. Right, if he stabbed Flintheart, he would have been a lot closer to him. How could I prove that? Wait. Where is it? You are not taking a 10-foot step, you son of a bitch. Because you wouldn't have been able to see. I hope this is right. Objection! Nope. Fortunately, you can tell when you're wrong when it's this line. Let's see if it's the map. Because the thing is he would have been 15, 20, 25 feet away. I don't know if this is it. Let's see. Nope. This has got to be it. Okay. Because if he wouldn't have been able to see the crime unfold because it's not far enough. I think you could probably use the map too. Pierce, you said that you illuminated the scene from the tavern entrance. Did you take a single step inside the building? Of course not. I remember it very clearly. I only stood at the entrance. Then maybe you can help me go over this map of the tavern. If we take a look at this map, that would place you here where the W is. Of course, do I need to repeat myself? Well, I find it interesting that you illuminated the crime scene from all the way back there. Considering the conjure light only illuminates an area within 15 feet of the caster. What? Pierce, conjure light doesn't behave like a normal light source. It only provides illumination up to 15 feet of the caster. If you had stayed at the entrance, your spell wouldn't have shown you anything. Objection! The spell's range is irrelevant. We've already established the victim would have been illuminated by Mage Blade. The witness clearly stated that he couldn't see what was happening. That was why he cast conjure light in the first place. What does this mean? Lord Pierce, did you illuminate the crime scene or not? Well, I can answer the question for you, Your Honor. The witness did illuminate the scene of the crime. He illuminated it because he was standing right where it happened. Mr. Cuthbert, what are you getting at? Your Honor, the defense would like to formally accuse Garrick Pierce of murdering Flynn McCoy. I think we don't have enough information to immediately jump to this assumption right now. But, like, pop off. Hold on for a moment. This is absurd. I could have easily used a different spell to illuminate the room. And which spell would that be, Pierce? The specific spell escapes me. I'm not sure which one I used now that I think about it. You idiot. Well, maybe we can figure it out together when you relinquish your spell compendium to the court. Steelwind, say something. If you would listen to my instructions, you wouldn't be in this situation. You made your bed, now lie in it. Steelwind, you treacherous! I love the facial expressions of these people. I had to say this. The art is incredible. I really love the art, especially like the emotions and all of that. They look so good. Order! That's enough. It appears that the prosecution has no objections. With everything that has occurred, I must ask Lord Pierce to relinquish his spell compendium to the court. We did it! We got a spell compendium! With that, the case is as good as ours. Or was it? She didn't even try to stop me from taking his spell compendium. I doubt she'd do that just to spite Pierce. Okay. Visual effect. Okay. The caster creates a simple and harmless visual effect around their hand. The spell will last as long as they maintain concentration. I don't know how that would necessarily work. Conjure water to magically flow out of the caster's hands. Water will flow so long as the caster maintains concentration. Another concentration. Frostwave. Anything caught within range is hit with a blast of extremely cold air. Liquids hit will immediately be frozen. Organic life will immediately enter stages of hypothermia. God damn. And that don't even need anything. All you do is just move, outstretch both your hands. God damn. Shape liquid. While concentrating on this spell, the caster can magically manipulate up to 10 liters of water and form it into complex shapes. And at any time, the caster can choose to freeze the liquid to solidify its current shape. When frozen, the caster can also choose to make that liquid instantaneously melt. This feels like you could use it to create the sword, but I don't remember what he technically did. Your Honor, I've looked at the spells in Lord Pierce's compendium. Conjure Light is the only spell that he can cast that would shed a blue light. It's clear that his testimony and many of his statements were false. I love the facials. I love, like, the face. Like, just the facial expressions. They're so good. Lord Pierce could very well be a suspect in the murder of Flynn McCoy. I had argued that this presents enough reasonable doubt to acquit the defendant. Mr. Cuthbert, I acknowledge that Lord Pierce's actions are quite suspect. However, I will not pass a verdict just yet. There's much more we need to learn. What? That's not how it works. We proved that there's reasonable doubt. That should be enough to acquit me, right? In a normal case, yes, but the situation is different for this trial. The public won't accept an unsolved homicide using magic. Unless we can unequivocally prove your innocence, the court will keep drawing things out. What? But that's not fair. It's just how our system works. The kingdom has always cared more about easing public tensions than delivering justice. Are you serious? The court will be suspending the trial of Celeste McCoy until further notice. We have no choice but to give the Inquisition time to investigate Lord Pierce as a possible suspect. Objection! A possible suspect? The very idea of that is preposterous, Your Honor. What else did she have up her sleeve? Let's revisit the basic facts of this case. Flynn McCoy was murdered using a blade with the transmutation spell active on it. Mr. Cuthbert, why don't you tell me the spells that Lord Pierce knows? Dude, I love this. Like, she's basically just like, you know what? We have all the evidence that we need to throw this bitch's ass into prison. We have it. Spells are prestidigitation. I'm like trying to figure out if it's press or pre. Digitation. I can read. That is just, I don't know magic. Conjure light, conjure water, frost wave, and shape liquid. Wait a minute. You realize it too, haven't you? The witness doesn't know any transmutation spells that can be channeled through a solid object. I can't be right. You're absolutely right, Steel, but god damn! This artwork! This artwork, though! Golly. It's such a good villain, like, pose. I see, if all of that is true, that would still leave the defendant as the only possible killer. And he was the only other mage there. It has to be him. He doesn't know any transmutation spells that could be cast on your sword. We can't prove that he stabbed him while using magic. Wait, how did he do it then? She was right, how did he do it? Since the beginning, I've been bothered by the traces of the transmutation magic surrounding Flintheart's body. Originally, I thought the killer had somehow magically altered the sword and the surrounding wooden floor. None of Pierce's spells could do something like that. Those transmutation traces were scattered all over the place. They didn't even fully cover the sword. So what if he didn't use a sword? What if he used something else? Order! The defense did cast some doubt on the witness's testimony. Nevertheless, I must conclude that he could not have possibly committed the murder. With that in mind, please wait, Your Honor. We still can't rule out Pierce as a suspect just yet. What are you on about? Steelwind said it herself. Conjure water could be turned into a physical object. I don't know any spells that can be channeled through a blade. Yes, you do. I mean, technically you don't. This does the visual aspect, which doesn't really need it. But you can shape the liquid into complex items, shapes, and then freeze it. I think it's this. But you didn't use a magic blade, did you? What nonsense is this? The autopsy report clearly states that the wound was created by a blade. If he didn't channel magic through a blade, how could he have possibly committed the crime? Steelwind, Garrett Pierce didn't kill the victim using a sword. He killed him using an object shaped exactly like a sword. What? I'm afraid I don't quite understand, Mr. Cuthbert. Your Honor, I'd like to bring your attention to Pierce's spell compendium. Garrick Pierce knows a seemingly insignificant spell called Shape Liquid. With it, he can control any liquid and mold it into any complex shapes he wants. He can even freeze it, locking that shape in place. If he had enough water, he could create a sword made purely out of ice. No! Is it possible that he... Why don't you say that for yourself, Lord Pierce? Pierce's breathing became frantic. He clearly wasn't prepared to be backed into a corner like this. I could feel his frustration, stress, and fear emanating through the eye of Horus. The board was set. I just had to deliver the final blow. Da-da-da! I'll tell you exactly what I have to say, you commoner! I'm not the one on trial here. We're here because that bastard child didn't know her place. But you didn't see jack shit. The girl used her holy arts to murder her father because she lacked a noble's temperament. Wait. Okay. Shoot! I hit the wrong button! Dang it! I think we can use either the map or the spell. Okay. Shoot. I thought we could use that. Okay, conjure light. And now, pray tell, did you see everything? If you recall, you testified that you only took a single step inside the inn. However, you would have needed to be within 15 feet to see my client with conjure light. This again? If you're going to keep treading on that one detail, then I admit it, I stepped further into the inn. I kept that out of the testimony, all because I knew that you and Tamura would use it against me. Lord Pierce. But you didn't just withhold that detail from your testimony, did you? You testified the contrary. You committed perjury, Pierce. Plain and simple. That's... And let's not stop there. For your story to be true, you would have needed to be within 15 feet of my client. According to your testimony, my client had just finished murdering her father. Wouldn't she have noticed you? Aye. If you were that close, then surely you were close enough to apprehend her. So why didn't you? Don't you have a duty to your citizens you lord over? Shut your filthy mouth! That woman was armed. I had no reason to put my life in danger. I was terrified when I saw her holding that bloody sword. She just murdered a man. I might have very well been next. Hold on. What is it? Okay. The wound shows that, but she doesn't. But it's traces. Damn it, it also says traces on that. Shoot. I'm not 100% sure. Hold on. Okay. No. I'm not... Wait! She wasn't holding it! It was still in the body! That's what it is! It's in the body! Oh my god, I forgot that. God, this music's actually really good. That can't be right, can it, Lord Pierce? The photo of the crime scene shows that the sword was left inside the victim's body. How could she still be wielding it if it never left the body? What? Damn you! Steelwind, why aren't you saying anything? What? Steelwind froze. When I had the advantage, she always made her usual poise. Now she was scrambling for something to say. Nothing came to her. Lord Pierce, please calm down. How can I remain calm when this charlatan is trying to frame me? This is a complete travesty. I came here to reveal the truth and testify against that criminal. And what do I get instead? Slander from some lowly peasant? You talk about justice, but you committed several acts of perjury to coerce the outcome of this trial. You don't care about justice, you're just here to cover up your crime. You filthy little... So admit it, Pierce, you created a makeshift sword with shaped liquid and used it to impale Flintheart. You shoved my client's sword into the wound while the remnants of the real murder weapon melted. You thought it was a perfect crime, didn't you? Did you just say? What? God. This is so fun. Arya's just like, I did not sign up for this. I don't get paid enough for this. Lord Pierce. My apologies, Honor. It just, I realized something absolutely hilarious. The defense has put forward an interesting theory, but there's one problem with it. And what's that? I think you said it yourself. No, but there was something with the wood. There was something with the wood that would have been the melted water. Right? You're right. It would have been the perfect crime. Because any evidence to support that theory would have evaporated with that melted blade. What? No. It was right. Magical traces don't spread through physical contact. They're only detected on the objects they are cast on. If he used a blade of water to kill Flintheart, all of the water he used to make that sword would have evaporated by now. That would mean... But there were the traces on the floor. Report that his traces... God. Every time that I get, like, really excited about something, that I just start repeating it, I immediately think to when I did my, like, banana fish watch through, and it's bad that my own voice can be a vocal sample, but I'm like, they're gonna make Charlotte a test subject. They're gonna make Charlotte a test subject. That's immediately what I think of. It's bad. There would be nothing left of the murder weapon. Used spun quite the tale here today, but in the end, you don't have a shred of evidence to support it, do you? We had something about the floors. You have nothing. Isn't there anything we can do? I became quiet, thinking about each piece of evidence I'd found. They all fit into place except for one piece. Tyrion. Any worries she had disappeared. She probably saw the look on my face. It was familiar to her. It expressed the same quiet certainty I had every time I defeated her. I wasn't sure how, but there was something left of the murder weapon. It was on the floors! Otherwise, there wouldn't have been any traces of transmutation at the crime scene. What is this? You can glare at me all you want, it won't change the fact that you've lost. I despise people like you. You twist this kingdom's law to serve your own ends. You trample on the lives of the people you were supposed to be serving and protecting. And as long as I'm standing in this courtroom, I will never let that happen again. Oh my god, there were voices. What did I just do? I could feel my head being dragged to the ground. It felt like I was about to burst. At the same time, I felt an extreme sense of clarity. It was as if nothing could be concealed from the eye of Horus now. Once again, I saw Pierce's thought, but this sensation felt sharper than it usually was. I could feel his mind reacting to mine, as if it were a pond rippling around me as I stepped through it. I wondered, could I reach in further and pull something I could use? You activated a new ability through the Eye of Horus. You could temporarily project items into witnesses' mind and read their thoughts about it. These thoughts can sometimes reveal new information if you grant insight. Fill the insight gauge to proceed. Oh my gosh. Okay. There is something. Why am I thinking of such a thing? A piece of evidence and fuck you! It should have. Okay, let's show the photo. Even now, this image is still lingering in my mind. Why does it trouble me so? He was a fool and an insurgent. What would Effie think of me now? Yes, it did! It gave me... Effie, the dead sister! The dead sister! I'm right on that. We did the photo. Let's try shape water. After all the trouble I went through, I still can't believe that boy figured out which spell I used. Well, no matter, as long as if there's any evidence that implicates me. I'm lucky that old fool had that bottle of water with him. Bottle of water? Well then, as riveting as this has been, I believe it's time for me to be on my way. Now wait a minute, Pierce. What is it now, you cretin? I'll say it as many times as you need to hear. Wait. Oh my god. The lotus juice. The water bottle. It's not a water bottle, it's a lotus juice. Oh my gosh. You're right, Pierce. If you used shape liquid on a body of water, the murder weapon would have evaporated entirely. Bravo. It seems you've finally gotten that fact through your thick head. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, Pierce. What if you didn't use shape liquid on a body of water? What if it were another type of liquid? What are you going on about? Pierce, shape liquid doesn't just work on water. It works on all kinds of liquids. There was a shattered bottle next to the body. The liquid you used to form the murder weapon, it came from that bottle, didn't it? You were probably wary of leaving evidence at the crime scene. You must have decided to use any liquid you could find there. Luckily for you, the victim was holding the perfect quantity of liquid in his hands. That begs the question, if we had someone analyze the broken pieces of this bottle, we would find traces of transmutation magic. You think you can bluff me? We've already established that any water I supposedly shaped would have evaporated. Except that liquid contained in the bottle wasn't water, it was tea. Technically it was juice, lotus juice, but whatever. So, what difference does that make? A blade of ice made out of water would have evaporated entirely. But a blade of frozen tea would leave a dried residue. The tea wouldn't completely disappear. No. I wonder why there were so many traces of transmutation scattered around the crime scene. When I felt the texture of the floor, I thought a transmutation spell had caused some sort of chemical reaction with the wood. But the real answer was a lot simpler than that. The transmutation spell didn't alter the floor at all. It was just a stain from the spilled tea. I bet if we compared the tea residue on the floor to the residue inside the bottle, we'd find traces of transmutation on them. There's your murder weapon, Pierce. You have nowhere left to go. This checkmate. Bailiff, send for Orm. The Inquisition needs to analyze the crime scene at once. We need to confirm the defense's theory. The time window to detect traces of magic is closing. I have the report from the Inquisition. What does it say? The traces on the sword, the body, even the floor, they all came from tea residue. We found those same traces on the shards of the broken bottle, too. It's undeniable someone cast a spell on the liquid contained within that bottle. And the defendant has no such spell. Oh, okay. My brain was like defendant and then thinking it was Pierce. You really did it, didn't you? Why? As if someone like you could ever understand. Understand? You murdered my dad! Murdered? Murdered? I murdered her. I can't believe it. She's dead. Her smile, her beautiful voice, it's all gone. I deserve death. Stop this nonsense. Father? You're grieving, but it will pass. She was only a commoner. No, Father. I loved her, and I killed her. Garrick, you sweet, innocent child. Flowers may be beautiful and bring you joy, but you call it murder when you accidentally step on one? These people, these peasants, they may resemble us, but you know deep in your heart that they aren't like us. What? We have the Scaled Lord's favor, and they do not. They were created to serve us, to be utilized by those of us who matter. Father, don't fret over such a simple commoner. By next month, you'll have completely forgotten about that wretched thing. How could I have been so blind? She was a simple flower, nothing but a worthless peasant. They're all just peasants, all of them. Is it murder to protect my kingdom? Is it murder to pull weeds before they blight my land? That fool of a man was spreading poison, and I did my duty by removing him. You're a monster. I'm a nobleman, a chosen vessel of the Scaled Lord's will. You are all nothing. Do you honestly think that you can indict me? My word carries more power than 100 of yours. Bailiff, escort Pierce to a holding cell. I feel like I've switched between my Francesca, a mockery of Sandrone's English VA, and something else completely weird. Like, it still works. God. I'm not even kidding. Actually, I think doing all of Garrick's, like, maniacalness has actually, like, left, like, I feel tingling in my throat. Like, not even in my throat, in my nose. It's weird. Stillwind. First-degree murder is punishable by execution, Lord Pierce. I suggest you remain silent, lest you incriminate yourself further. You can't be serious. You, of all people, must understand the position I was in. Your father knows what it takes to maintain order, if not for me. Shut your insidious mouth. I will never understand your sick, disgusted mind. I'd sooner slit my own throat. Well, what are you waiting for? Take him away! Yes, take him away at once! I can't believe it. I actually won. Tyrion,
I know, Celeste.
Tyrion?
Teary-eyed, she threw her arms around me, embracing me tightly. I just stood there wide-eyed, looking toward the gallery member who was staring at us. I was unsure where to put my hands.
That was remarkable. Miss Tamora, I'll be honest, when I realized that the murder weapon had evaporated, I thought the case was over. You did a great job of turning that around.
It was just luck. If you'd used water, things would have ended very differently.
It had nothing to do with luck, not this time. You were able to deduce which liquid he used, and you did it just by looking at a few broken shards of broken glass. I knew your deductive skills were good, but that was incredible.
It wasn't just deduction, though. I did something with the Eye of Horus today, something I'd never done before. I had an amazing ability, but I was starting to realize that I knew next to nothing about it. If I wanted to use it effectively, I needed to learn more.
You are all quite lively. There's no need for such hostility, though I wouldn't expect any less from the Hound of the Eye Taker.
What does she mean by that? I glanced at Miss Tamora, but she avoided eye contact with me. It was subtle, but her posture stiffened and her brow clenched ever so slightly. I couldn't see any thoughts at Eye of Horus.
I must admit, I was hoping to test my mind against yours directly. However, your protege proved to be a worthy adversary. Is this some sort of game to you? You almost condemned an innocent girl to death. The court operates by having two powers of opposition. Those, when powers are balanced, justice prevails, just like it did today. Your victory today was just the system working as intended. Working as intended. You know very well our system only exists to protect your people. You can act as sanctimonious as you want. That doesn't change that with each passing day, your father butchers more and more innocents. I know, but I am not my father. I walk a different path. I know you have no reason to believe me, so I'll let my actions speak for themselves. I look forward to doing battle again with you, Tyrion Cuthbert. I messed up that line, but it's fine.
Steelwind, why did you arrest Pierce at the end of the trial?
I don't understand.
He was right in a way. You didn't need to do that.
He openly admitted to first-degree murder. Why wouldn't I have him arrested?
Never mind then. I'm looking forward to facing you again.
Good. I hope to see you soon.
I still couldn't tell what she was thinking, even with the Eye of Horus. She definitely wasn't the bloodthirsty killer her father was.
Well, that killed the mood, didn't it? Not at all. I think we should celebrate.
What are you thinking?
There's this high-class restaurant in the upper quarters of Rathholm. They usually only serve nobles, but they let anyone in if they have enough gold.
Wait, do we have enough gold?
I have some connections with the staff there. Don't worry about it.
These last 2 days marked the beginning of my journey into the world of law and magic. Our justice system was broken, rotten from the inside, but I had a voice now. I could never stop fighting. With my skills and the Eye of Horus, I knew nothing could stop me. Or at least, that's what I'd hoped.
This feeling, I knew it. His radiant soul is ripe for the reaping. Even the small speck of time has felt like an eternity. I can't wait any longer. I can't wait to see that wretched light drain from his eyes.
And that's where we're gonna end this episode. Wait, never mind, it's not. Lillian, please, I implore you.
I know you're excited, but don't you think we're moving far too quickly?
The head of Vassal and Sanctus and the Duke of Commerce, his noble house is one of the 4 pillar families. His family is responsible for managing trade and commerce throughout Wyvengard. Nonsense. Everything has been going according to plan. Okay, I was like, okay, is that... Because it's like starkly black, like the mole on his nose, I thought for a second that it actually was something on my screen. William Freja, head of House Freja, the Duke of Finance. His noble house is one of the 4 pillar families and responsible for tax collection in the exchange for resources. House Freja owns and controls every banking house in Wyvengard. Lord von Sanctus shifted nervously, his rat-like posture practically shuddering. William Freja, on the other hand, only seemed bothered by Lloyd's insistent chittering. They both held the status of Duke, but only William wore rather than the other way around. I have advocated for the Arcarians more than anyone else, but I haven't enough time to look into them. The Arcarians are efficient yet simple folk. The only thing they care about is filling their coffers, and I'm quite proficient in that language. And what of the Grand General? Do you think pays for all of his soldiers? You may be able to get to the ground forces, but his extended family is something else entirely. If you threaten them like this, they will respond in kind. Loyalty can be bought, the same as other commodity. Every house has a weak link. It's only a matter of time before I find his. William! Enough! This meeting is an opportunity for us to finally pull the Minister of Justice to our side. I will not squander it. We will take Livengard from Lucio today. Wait, is Lucio Arya's father? Was Lucio Steelwind, right? Grow a spine while you're at it. You're a duke, for crying out loud. Lloyd just exhaled deeply as he followed William to the meeting room. Oh, they've arrived. Corlin Sybil, Duchess, the head of House of Sybil and the Minister of Justice. Her noble house is one of the 4 pillars, and is the most powerful among them. Her family has managed the judicial and legislative branches of Wyvernguard's government for generations. See, you have nothing to worry about, Your Grace. It seems that the Minister of Justice and High Speaker have already arrived. Corlin Sybil and Theon Arceus were the most powerful people in this room, in theory. They represented the justice system and the church respectively, but both of their heads were always in the clouds. Their dispositions made them more akin to cattle that could be distracted and coaxed with shiny trinkets. Corlin was always ruminating about fate and the cosmos. She'd often confused astrology with philosophy. Theon was blinded by his obsession with the Scaled Lord and his stories. William was almost certain that his noble house had written off half of those stories. Oh, that they'd written half of them, not written off, my bad. I was worried something had befallen your convoy. I had been praying to the Scaled Lord for your safety. Theon Arceus, avowed leader of the Church of Bahamut. I don't think I've ever met anyone who reveres the Scaled Lord as much as he does. You two are late. The name is Virgile? Virgile. It looks like it's Virgile, but I want to say Virgile. It's kind of just visible. Mysterious lord who appears to be close to the royal family. Apparently he's a royal advisor to the way of Queen of Wyvernguard. I wonder why I've never heard of him before. From the looks of it, we're not the only ones. The Grand General not be ours to show up. It's because of his foolishness that we've gathered. That's not entirely true. Really? What if it's the recent bloodbath in the countryside? Word on the grapevine says that his men toss a clergyman from the top of a bell tower. The man is so bloodthirsty we should check his pantry for the children he slaughtered. William! We have assembled to discuss the lack of unity between the 4 pillars. Unity? Spare me. House Frega, House von Sanctus, and House Sybil are closer than they've ever been. The Steelwinds are the odd ones out. Unity requires trust, and he has nothing but spilled the blood of the people we trusted him to protect. His recent actions have been excessive. No one is here disputing that. My dear Duchess, his excess has merchants refusing to move caravans through the countryside. The commoners are crying for justice and turning to insurrection, something that the Grand General is supposed to be putting a stop to. The other nations whisper about us, like a barbarian state dressed in fancy robes. Trade has slowed. The Scaled Lord has teaches that prosperity is a covenant between every man in Wyvernguard. How Steelwind carries the burden of protecting Wyvernguard's borders. As mishandled as these situations have been, he's not massacring these villages for his own amusement. He could have fooled me. The leader wins respect and loyalty. He doesn't hold his people hostage. Mark my words, if this bloodshed continues, the commoners will revolt. These recent insurrections are just the start, and this will only continue if we allow Lucio's daughter to take the throne. If we're discussing Lady Steelwind's marriage to the Crown Prince, surely he should be a part of this meeting as well. Please, what can that bright-eyed boy contribute to this conversation? The only thing he's good for is holding fundraisers and cutting red ribbons. William, he's heir to the throne. Come now, the true rulers of Wyvernguard are all assembled in this room. I'll admit, the House of Lords have received more petitions against Lucio than any other general in Wyvernguard's history. The Church has also been unable to identify as many ties as before. Even the most faithful are asking whether the Scaled Lord would support such cruelty. Their faith is faltering. This can't be allowed to continue. Oh, look who finally decided to show up.
Why does he give, like, hardened Sephiroth? I think it's the middle part with the hair. Because doesn't Sephiroth also have, like, the bangs like that? I could be wrong. I'm just saying.
I know I was caught in the deep. I find this gathering to be pointless anyway.
There's a part of me that wants to pull, like, the Capitano voice right now. He feels like he kind of gets Capitano, but then a little bit crazy. And I'm like, I don't know how I can... It's bad that I'm, like, in my brain, I'm like, now, how can I make this voice work? While you hear nothing but metal. How dare you, Grand General? Have you no sense of respect?
What use would respect be to one who can't command it? Will you demand my respect, Master of Aberration?
Well,
Leave him alone, Lucio. We were just discussing your recent catastrophe in the countryside. From what I heard, the death toll has been astronomical. Did you beat your record? If you have something to say, then say it plainly, Freyga. House Freyga would like to move to have the Steel Wind stripped of their authority and control of Wyvernguard's military. Lloyd, Coraline, and the Church agree with me on this matter. Is that so?
well, we of House von Sanctus stand with the House Freyga on this matter. I'm sorry, Lucio, but it's difficult to argue with what the reports have been saying. I will bring this matter to the House of Lords. We'll hold a vote.
Then the House of Lords should know about what my agents have discovered. The Eastern Kingdom have joined the Union.
What? Surely this can't be true.
It is. I'm sure that Ordo Australis will be announcing it publicly within a week. Wyvernguard is now the only nation in the world that hasn't joined their alliance. Correct. The only thing acting as a deterrent to our enemies is the high evocation magic of the House Steelwind. Do you think the House of Lords would be willing to oust the most powerful war mages from our ranks?
Sorry if some of this isn't loud. It's hard to, like, project when I'm, like, trying to, like, force my voice to go deep. Sorry. I feel like I've been saying so many, like, out-of-pocket things that you could probably make some, like, weird edits with this. And then run it through, like, AI. Please don't do that.
Lucio! Now, if you're done gnashing your teeth, William, I have to meet with the rest of my house. We'll need to prepare in case the Illuminites become bold enough to bring war to the western border. Lucio, wait! Damn it all! Since when were those Orientals so friendly with the Ordo Australis? Can't believe the Illuminites would suffer the company of those mud-eating savages.
Damn, you sound like a European nigga.
Damn.
Actually, their culture is very rich. I, for one, quite enjoy many of their—
Shut up, Lloyd! We'll need to expedite our plans.
What?
Get the Arcarians on a line. I will have a word with them.
You have business with Arcaris?
We're brokering a trade deal. I'm sure the House of Lords will be seeing it soon.
It seems the cosmos is in our favor then. They'll be the only allies we have left. Stay safe, Coraline. And you too, Lloyd.
Please tell me these stories aren't true. Lucio! You already know the answer, Your Grace. How could you? I never thought you'd get involved in matters of the state.
I cannot project his voice enough, and I apologize.
People are dying, Lucio. Children are dying under your watch. You really think me capable of such atrocities, Your Grace? If you do, then strike me down now. You have the power to do so. You know I won't do that, Lucio.
Yeah, but who's shipping them? It's the fact that I'm like, just off of this line, it's like, I could never. Tortured old man yelling!
Then stay out of my way.
I have to get like close to the mic again, like I'm doing Godot, but then I have to like try to like go lower. And I'm like, this is already a struggle.
What has become of all of you?
Is that it? Oh my gosh.
Pierce, you have a visitor?
Steelwind's brat again. I'm in no mood for another sanctimonious lecture. Gary. And Jolene. Time has not been kind to you. Excuse you. I'll have you know that if I get mistaken for 20 everywhere I go. I suppose some things never change. Let's get on with it then. What? Go on, yell at me, curse at me. I doubt anyone would lift a finger if you open this cell and beat me half to death. So, do it. I forgive you. What? I forgive you for killing my husband, Garrick. You lost your mind. You think I feel any remorse? You think I'm still that weak child? I just don't have the energy for it. I saw what that resentment did to my husband. It festered inside of him like an infection. I forget the voice I gave her, but I thought that I'd never have to voice her again. I'm the only family Celeste has left. If only you knew where she really came from. I don't need to. She's reckless, stubborn, and a little spoiled too. She takes after me in a lot of ways. She takes a little too much after her father. She's a good person. She's the kindest person I've ever known, and I'm proud to call her my daughter. And you're a fool. Gary, Flintheart didn't die for what happened to Effie. Or, he didn't blame you. He died because of you. He didn't blame you. That's a lie. All he ever did was blame me. He didn't blame you until you shut yourself away in your manor. You're all in so much pain over what happened, and you abandoned us. And you expect me to apologize for what? That? Effie always loved that spell. What? You remember how she danced in a lake while you shaped the water around her feet? She thought that spell was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. That person died a long time ago. Effie or you? You're a weed. Excuse me? That's all you are, Jolene. A wilting weed on the road, waiting to be trampled over by this cold, wretched world. You think yourself virtuous for spewing out such empty platitudes? Admit it, you hate me, you despise me. If you could stomach it, you'd climb into the cell and plunge his blade into my chest, just like I did to your husband. Right now, I only feel sorry for you. I never thought you were weak. You were the kindest person I knew. I miss that man, but you're right, he's gone now. Good luck with your trial, Garrick. I don't need luck. With my connections, I'll be out of the cell by week's end. Lucio killed him. That was Lucio, wasn't it? I'll show you. I'll show all of you. Your daughter will be of use to me yet. That's it for Cold-Hearted Aristocrat. This has been genuinely so fun. Like, I have been loving so much of this. Are we good? Okay, I think we're good. Yes, we are good. This will be all next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see y'all next time for whatever is going on. We're gonna be dealing with kitchen staff. Oh boy. That's as much as I can tell. I know next to nothing of what's gonna happen. But I will see y'all next time. Bye.